Hey everybody, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 214 on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, spreading the word to your friends and family, everyone in between, and also to follow the podcast and donating to the podcast, which, by the way, you can do clicking on the link my Spotify episode, or you can click on the link on my YouTube episode in the description, which will take you to the Spotify page and you can donate to the podcast. Thank you guys. On episode 214, we'll cover a few topics. So, NFL playoffs, we're down to the final four. We got the number 2 seed of the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got by the LA Rams, who were the number 4 seed. Made it a little bit tough, but Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts did a great job. Saquon Barkley had a runaway touchdown run, and they stayed ahead of the Rams pretty much for most of the game, and they won 28-22. They're gonna go up against the big surprise. You got the number 6 seed Washington Commanders, who took out the number 1 team in the NFC, the Detroit Lions. Had everything going for them. Unfortunately, the defense was almost basically nowhere to be found. And that's unfortunate because I think the Detroit Lions, I believe they went, what was it, 15-2? Went 15-2, won North Division. Sunday Night Football in the finale, it was to defeat and blew out the Minnesota Vikings. What was it, 31-9 or something, to make sure they were the number 1 seed and have home field throughout the playoffs and win the division and the most wins in team history. But on Saturday night, as I was watching UFC 311, I am watching and split TVs. I am watching the Commanders just drive after drive, play after play. They had outclassed the Detroit Lions, and the 12-5 Washington Commanders, who were the number 6 seed, defeated the number 1 seed Detroit Lions, and now the Detroit Lions have to figure out what to do now. Season's over. Their dream season is over now, and there's no Super Bowl to show for it. And now the Commanders are going to go to Philadelphia. They're going to play the Eagles for the 3rd time this season. The rubber match. They both beat each other 1 time. The 3rd time is going to be for a spot in the Super Bowl 59. Jalen Daniels is just something else because he's a rookie quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks are not supposed to be this good right off the bat. It's supposed to take at least a couple years to finally find their footing, but Jalen Daniels just torched the number 1 team. Found perfect timing, found creases, holes in the defense of the Lions, incorporated runs from Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson. They are a team to be reckoned with, and I gotta say they might be a hard out right now. I do feel that the Eagles might just squeak by the Commanders. It might be down to a field goal. And the Commanders got a very promising future ahead of them. So you could be looking at Eagles and Commanders for like the next 5 years or something, and they are going to be the class of that East Division. And strangely enough, the Eagles and the Commanders are actually on the home schedule for the Chargers in 2025 at SoFi Stadium. So I technically wanted to see those two games because I've never seen them. Well, I did see the Eagles play. I think I did. Yeah, I think the Eagles beat the Chargers that one time. I went to my first ever Chargers game. I remember there was a program when I was at Qualcomm Stadium, Jack Murphy Stadium, but the Chargers, I think they lost that time. I don't remember the score, but I had to look it up probably. Especially since those games don't really happen very often. I'm pretty sure there weren't very many games like that before years past. So, but now that I can remember it a lot better now, who knows? It'll be a good matchup: Justin Herbert versus Jalen Hurts, or Justin Herbert versus Jalen Daniels. That's gonna be a hot ticket for 2025. I'll look into the ticket prices and see where I can get good seats and for a good price. So, cross my fingers, I get good seats. And what date it is, too. I'm going to block off a bunch of Sundays or something. Although if they make this a Sunday night game or the Monday night football game, I think I'm going to go. So, but yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Eagles over the Commanders, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders beat the Eagles. Now that they're very familiar with each other, and Jalen Daniels is playing with house money. On the other side, you got the two-time defending champions, number one seed Kansas City Chiefs. They took care of business. They beat the Houston Texans, who beat my Chargers the other week. By the way, Commanders beat the Lions 45-31. So Chiefs did beat the they beat the Houston Texans 23-14. Mahomes kind of had a ho-hum average game, nothing too spectacular. Just did what the team needed to do against the Texans and kept them from a certain distance and just kept them at arm's length. Travis Kelce, Mahomes did their job. Defense looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, I think they did their part. You got four notable receivers that makes any defense kind of worry. Although there was a weird safety the Chiefs had given up on purpose with 15 seconds left in the game, and they're up 23-12 on the 18-yard line, their own 18-yard line, and the punter decides to run around the end zone and runs out of the end zone for a safety. It was 23-12. I don't know why you would take a safety, much less be scared to punt the ball with 15 seconds to go. And I'm pretty sure Houston had no timeouts left. I don't know why you would do that, but apparently Chiefs won by 9. And what I last heard and saw was that the Chiefs, they closed out as a 9.5 point favorite over the Texans. And the fact if you took that bet late and you didn't do it when it was like at 8 points and you waited and it went up to 9.5 and you took the bet at 9.5, that's a bad bet. That's a bad beat. And in the circumstance that it came as. That's a little bitter. That was kind of bitter pill to swallow because I'm pretty sure some people either had at 9.5, and for that safety to happen with an 11-point lead, that stings. Unless you started to bet it right when it came out at 8, 7.5, 8.5, you're lucky that you didn't wait. So, well, Chiefs. The Chiefs now get to play the number 2 seed, the Buffalo Bills. They had not been back to the AFC Championship in some time. I want to say it was during that 4-year span where the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl and lost all 4 from 91 to 94. So 1994 was probably the last time they were in the AFC Championship. Wow, 31 years. I think the time when the Bills had played the Chiefs, I think that AFC game was probably a second round matchup. I wasn't sure if that Bills Chiefs matchup was for the AFC Championship. Now, I could be wrong. I have to look it up. But I kind of felt that was a second round game. And then I think the Chiefs had beat someone else in the AFC Championship to get to the Super Bowl. But I don't mind if I'm wrong. If the Bills had played the Chiefs in that epic game where the Chiefs had to come back a few times against the Bills, and the Bills had gone up a few times in the last 3 minutes of the game, and then there was 13 seconds left in the game, and the Chiefs managed to get the game time field goal after the Bills had gone the go-ahead touchdown with 13 seconds left. And that was still enough time for Patrick Mahomes to get the field goal. And they won the coin toss. They went the entire distance and scored a touchdown. And at the time, a touchdown on the first possession automatically wins the game, which means there was no chance for the Buffalo Bills, even though they were matching the Chiefs point for point in that game. Then they changed the rule. In the playoffs, and only in the playoffs, if a touchdown is scored on the first possession, the other team gets one possession to try to match. And if they don't get it, they don't match, the game is over on that possession. Which, by the way, it does kind of bring up that issue about, if anybody actually remembers the rule about overtime, is that if you do give both sides a possession, and if you score on the first possession, and you're waiting for the other team, or if it's, if you score on the first possession and you give the ball to the other team to score, and if they just manage to run out of time in the first overtime, the possession still has to end at some point, and it can spill into a second overtime. So, yeah, that was a interesting rule. Now that I realize that that does actually make sense. You both have to have one possession, and it both have to end at some point. So, good to know. I do feel that the Chiefs will beat the Buffalo Bills. The Bills just barely got by the Baltimore Ravens, who got a touchdown in the last few seconds, or the last 2 minutes, trying to tie the Buffalo Bills, but the Ravens apparently tried a 2-point conversion, and Mark Andrews, the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, dropped the pass on the 2-point conversion, and the Ravens did not tie the game, and Unfortunately, that sucks. Baltimore loses by 2, 27-25. Bills go on to Kansas City and face the Chiefs, hopefully to dethrone the two-time defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and prevent them from becoming the first team ever in NFL history to do a three-peat. So we'll see what happens with that. So I am picking Chiefs to beat the Bills, and I'm picking the Eagles to beat the Commanders. But both games are going to be really close. Probably one possession. Probably no more than 7 points. So UFC 311 happened. It took place this past Saturday at the Intuit Dome, home of the LA Clippers basketball team. Steve Ballmer, the guy from Amazon, he built it with his own money. Got it done. I've actually saw it when it was in its beginning stages, but it wasn't a finished product yet. But now it's all done. All these events are coming through. You even had WWE's Monday Night Raw on Netflix be at that Intuit Dome. LA Clippers have been playing basketball games there since the beginning of the season. And they beat the Lakers there. Now that I think about it. Then you have your first UFC event there. So it started off with the main card when I happened to watch it. The Ritter got to face Kevin Holland. I believe this was a middleweight fight, and it did not last very long because the Ritter got Kevin Holland down to the ground and he submitted Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland tapped out to a choke, rear naked choke, I think it was. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that Kevin Holland is still not a wrestler, and he has done some grappling, but it's not at the level of these top tier wrestlers who have, or these fighters that have wrestling in their game. Kind of sucks, but I had the Ritter winning that. Wasn't too surprised that it happened that fast. And then we got Jolton Almeida, heavyweight, going up against Spivak, heavyweight. Jolton Almeida, he did throw some strikes that did hurt Spivak, and Spivak just got humbled and started to fall back into the cage. And soon after, Jolton Almeida, I think, had some following strikes, and I think he won by TKO first round, pretty fast. So you get back-to-back first-round finishers. I like the fact that Almeida is getting back up there again with a win streak after losing to Curtis Blades, despite the fact he was winning that fight only to expose his head, and Curtis Blades' only action left he could do to survive the fight was to elbow the head of Almeida until he was passed out from the pain. So since that loss to Curtis Blades, Almeida has picked up a couple of wins since then, reestablishing his win streak. Good victory for Almeida, and he should be making his way back up the heavyweight ladder again, maybe eventually challenging for the heavyweight championship at some point down the road. He might have to beat guys like Pavlovich and Volkov. I have to beat those guys. Maybe rematch with Curtis Blades again. So we'll see. Uh, by the way, I got to meet two new people actually. I got to meet Britt and Luis. Um, Kudos to you guys for being a great company along with my friends and my family. Apparently, my sister, my brother in law, and my nephew came out together. I didn't know they were going to come out, but fun times with the crew. And yeah, watched it at Pictures, had a large pizza, half all meats, half garden veggie. Good stuff. Um, So, Jiri Prochazka and Jamal Hill, uh, two light heavyweight for ex champions, who were both knocked out by the current champion Alex Pereira, the light heavyweight champion. Um, I kind of felt it took both guys a little bit of time to kind of get the rhythm, but Jiri just happened to found it faster than Jamal Hill, and he knocked down Jamal Hill quite a few times. And well, I guess he got the finish on Jamal Hill. Referee called it, stopped it, saw enough. Um, Great victory for Jiri. Prochazka, after getting clocked by Alex Pereira twice, looking not good after both fights. But this is a good pick me up. He's back on the saddle again, and apparently Jiri Prochazka wants to challenge Alex Pereira a third time. Maybe third time is a charm. Who knows? Yeah, it kind of sucks seeing Jamal Hill get finished like that, but maybe next time, get back on the saddle again, figure out what to do, and maybe regain his confidence again, and put the fear in um, others in the light heavyweight division. So, co-main event, we got Umar Nurmagomedov challenging Merab Dvalishvili for his bantamweight championship, 135-pound championship. Gotta say, good fight. A lot of wrestling. And Umar got the upper hand early on. And I think he won the first 2 rounds. And then the third round came around, and you kind of started to see Merab coming around, gain his composure, gain more confidence, and he won the last 3 rounds. And two of the judges had it 48-47, and one I think had it 49-46 for Merab, and that kind of was close to what I was looking at. So kudos to Merab. This is the first time someone from the Nurmagomedov camp to actually lose. So this was the cousin of the GOAT, one of the GOATs, Habib Nurmagomedov. So this is, I guess you could say, it was the lightest family member in the fight community of this fight camp, and he was the first one to lose by decision. So back to the drawing board. Who knows if they're going to fight again, run it back, or Merab wants new challengers. So we'll see. Main event. Islam Makhachev defending his lightweight championship, the 155-pound championship. He had a last-minute replacement. Moicano had to step up. He was a number 10 ranked guy in the division. Sarukian had to pull out because he had back spasms during his weight cut. And, well, it went as expected. I've been telling people, Islam, first round. And it just so happens the new couple that I had just met at the Pictures bar in French Mosquitoes, Luis, said, "Why you gotta do my boy like that? Why you gotta do him dirty?" Um, Honestly, the moment that I heard that Islam was going to have a new opponent and it was going to be Moicano, and this whole entire fight camp for Islam and the press conferences, and then only to now face the number 10 guy, the number 10 guy who has not beaten anybody in the top 10. His big win was actually beating Saint Benoit, I believe it was. Was it Denis? Was it Benoit Saint Denis or Saint Denis Benoit or Benoit Saint Denis? However you say his name, that was his big victory. But unfortunately, I have a hard time buying into the fact that if he hadn't beaten anybody in the top 5, much less the top 10, I have a hard time believing that Moicano has any shot at beating Islam. Now, I could have normally had said maybe they might go to decision, but I kind of get the feeling that Islam is just that good, and with the fact that he finds out his opponent had to back out and bring in a new opponent, he's willing to fight another challenger. Got to show why he is one of the GOATs, pound for pound guys in the UFC in the world. And I was about 90% sure Islam was going to win in the first round. Part of me kind of thought it's possible it might spill into the second round, but I really felt that first round was going to be what was going to happen. And guess what? What was it, 4 minutes? Islam beats Moicano in 4 minutes, I believe. It was a choke. I think it was, might have been a Darth choke. He had it like, he locked it in underneath the chin, and then he rolled, and Moicano had no choice but to tap out. So, another great title defense for Islam Makhachev. Who knows who's going to fight next, but honestly, I want Islam Makhachev to face Ilia Topuria, the 145-pound champion. That would be a great super fight. I think Ilia Topuria could be the one to defeat Islam Makhachev. So, cross my fingers. That fight happens sometime soon. So, guys, I had the pleasure of being an associate producer once again for 2 comedy shows for the Gumbo and Friends comedy show at the Mic Drop Comedy Club and Claremont Mesa Boulevard. It was this past Thursday and Friday. Gumbo came down, as usual. He needed my help with the show. I got to introduce on Thursday night Evelyn Sullivan. She's a theater actress and the aunt of my new friend Jade, who did the Nerve Challenge earlier back in November, just like her aunt did on Thursday night. And you know, gotta say, I had to come up with an intro. I just thought of, you know, the plays Cats, Hamilton, and Moulin Rouge. I said that, you know, Evelyn was the first ever theater actress to do all 3 plays that I just mentioned. So, the crowd liked it, and very impressed, and I think nobody would question it. And, you know, she did a great job, and she got the people riled up, and now I think there were some jokes, but I don't remember what the jokes were, but I remember the word chaos, and I think she was telling a story with some jokes in it. But gotta say, on her performance, I want to say she was 8 out of 10 for her performance. First time ever on the Nerve Challenge. First time ever doing jokes in front of a live crowd. Great job. I liked it. On the show, I believe we had TJ Bauer. Always great seeing that guy. Ran into him in the green room because everybody's getting ready. It's nice to be in the green room at the Mic Drop Comedy Club. Great decor. Got some candies, snacks, and they serve you food. Got to try the Buddha plate with beef bulgogi. Really good stuff. And the beef bulgogi with Buddha plate with quinoa, lettuce, arugula, cucumbers. 9 out of 10. Good stuff. And yeah, TJ Bauer did pretty well with the crowd. I heard some laughs. He said he was single. He was single. I think he has a girlfriend now. He talks about that. So he talks about dating. And you know, he did a great job opening. So I would say he was a 8.4 out of 10. Great job, TJ. I believe the next person to go up, I believe her name was Denise Wax, and apparently she did the World Series of comedy with Ryan Archuleta out in Vegas. Good stuff. Got to meet her. She wore a very bright outfit. I think it was like bright orange. And we talked for a little bit. She's pretty cool. I think she asked what my nationality was. And she did some crowd work. And she got the people laughing quite a bit. And that was great because, you know, I got to see her act for the first time. And she did a great job. I gotta say, she was probably an 8.7 out of 10. Great job with the crowd. Great job with the crowd work. Nice to hear the crowd kind of get behind her and following what she has to say on stage. So, and she's a great person to talk to. Next up, my first time seeing this lady, Anna Mae Gordon. And I think she's looking for a husband out here in San Diego. And she talked about dating and her stuff and family. And, you know, she was pretty funny. Crowd was, liked a lot what she said. And, honestly, I liked her act. And 8.7 out of 10. She's really cool to talk to as well. She was the first person I met in the the green room when I first showed up, before Gumbo was there. And then I believe we have, well, the one and only, the guy we're all here to see, the writer for Wild 'N Out. The reason why Nick Cannon is probably somewhat funny on stage, on TV. And Gumbo came out. It was a very fun intro. And he did really well with this crowd. He did a lot of crowd work. I almost kind of forget that he probably did some jokes during his set, and he kind of mixed in with the crowd work, which is always good. I always like that. And everybody had a really good time. And yeah, I like how when he talks about dating sometimes, and he He then kind of also has some focus about traffic and the fact that he has been pretty much is very good at pointing out things in the crowd. And apparently there was a guy in the front row who didn't know where he got his shirt from, and Gumbo kind of just kept asking and wanted to know, and kind of worked it into his act, and always came back to that part. And I always like that about Gumbo because he likes to kind of bring back some stuff previously that he talked about during the set, and he'll present it when the opportunity presents itself out there, when he's talking to people or during his jokes. And I gotta say, I always like it when comics would actually go back to something funny they said earlier, because now all of a sudden people then remember that comic had said it earlier, and it's nice to incorporate the two. Gumbo. I gotta say, I heard so much laughter during this set, during Gumbo's time, and yeah, I gotta say, Gumbo was a 9 out of 10 for this comedy on Thursday night. Then that's cool. We ended up taking pictures by the sign because it has the name up there and it's gonna be there for one more night. So it's kind of cool hanging out with TJ and Gumbo. And I think I saw Christy the dancer was there. She was there for the first time I was co-hosting the Nerve Challenge when she did her 3 to 5 minutes, trying her first time at stand-up comedy. She's a great dancer. She's working on something pretty great actually in the coming months, so I can't wait to see how it turns out. Then Friday night, wow. It was a packed house. Now, and when I showed up to the mic drop, I had to take video of the entire line from the beginning of the mic drop and all the way to the end, which wrapped around the building. And I can't believe that the mic drop basically was a packed house, sold out, no more tickets. So that was good because, in a way, with me taking the video, it does show that the Gumbo show is very popular and that I'm a part of it in a way. And I'm glad, I'm honored to be a part of this, actually. I don't take this for granted. So on this show, it's kind of special for me because I happen to bring on a musician onto the show. And his name is Michael Stec. I just met him 12 days ago at an open mic, the Collective Bar in Pacific Beach. And he got to do 2 songs. And what's great is that he's very versatile. He knows some popular songs. He can change the tune to make it more soulful, and something easy for the people to follow. And so when this show had happened, I ordered more Buddha plate, this time with chicken katsu. Good stuff, 9 out of 10. Plus I did get to take some snacks. Got some nut butter, got some Oreos, sun chips. I think I got some red vines. Great selection of snacks. They take care of the comics very well. And of course, I got to bring Michael Stec into the green room. Got to meet everybody. And I'm glad because I kind of helped make this happen with Gumbo. I'm glad I could help in some way. And it was a great show, great success for both nights. I believe Jade had gone up first. And it's great to see her kind of follow up and continue doing stand-up and work on her material. Now, she got to be the very first person to go up, so she was the cold open. That's usually a tough spot to be in. And from what I can tell, there were some laughs when she did the cold open, which is a tough spot to be in. And, you know, in a way, she did a great job. She was flowing with her thoughts, her jokes. But crowd just wasn't quite warmed up just yet. But I would say, you know, Jade was a 7.3 out of 10 for her comedy. First time doing it without the challenge. First time she's doing it as stand-up comedy. And I remember there was a Denise Wax. This time different outfit, but also still crowd work. She got some laughs too, and she wasn't too bad. And it kind of picked up as her set went on. I wouldn't say she was a 8 out of 10. Still some great crowd work with the front row. I believe next was TJ Bauer. Was up again. Talked about dating. Did a great job. 8.5 out of 10. For that. And then we had Rob Cook. I actually got to see Rob Cook when Catherine Say was at the mic drop, and it was out in the main room. So it was my second time seeing him, actually. Rob Cook, he had brought this, I guess, musical instrument, or he brought a phone and kind of had everybody reminisce about the 80s and 90s, how people used to play music, like his dad did. I think Q did alright, 8.5 out of 10 as well. And, well, Michael Stec got to play 2 songs, did pretty well. And I gotta say, with the music, Gumbo dancing to it, I gotta say it was a 8.9 out of 10. I think he played some Aretha Franklin. So, and I think there's one from Amy Winehouse. So, and then Gumbo closed it out. He had more crowd work. He got to meet some great people in the crowd. Talked about dating. Doesn't like traffic apparently. And honestly, crowd liked him a lot. Great crowd work. One of the best I've seen. And honestly, I'm glad I'm a part of it. So, well, guys, that's it for me. Oh shoot! Lights out! Lights out! And you know, watch good comedy shows. Get some good food. Oh, before I forget, Gumbo on Friday night. He was a 9 out of 10. But yeah, honestly, it was a great show overall. But yeah, guys, can't wait for the next comedy show. Hopefully this year I can produce my own comedy show sometime this year. Cross my fingers. A lot of stuff going on. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, guys, remember, I just said it before. Remember to have some good food, good company, watch some good fights, watch some good comedy shows, and you know the saying goes, boom! Tiggy Maximus, signing off, baby. Alright, later, guys.